Should be live in just a few seconds.
Okay.
Barney, just give me the thumbs up if you can see the live stream on the Facebook page. Should be live now.
And from Facebook, should I go to your personal page to get the link, or?
If you go to the Amey Finance page, then from there it should be shareable. ameyfinance.com
Yes.
is the name of the page, and it should be the first piece of content.
Yeah, I see that now.
Yeah. Guys, a warm welcome. Happy Thursday. I hope you've all had a good week. Friday is almost upon us. I'm very excited. I'm very happy to have secured this interview, because it's not been easy. It's not easy pinning down this gentleman. But here we are with the big interview, the latest in a series called The Big Interview. And we have none other than Uncle Albert taking the hot seat. Guys, today we are going to get to know this man a little better. We're going to scratch below the surface. We're going to take a deep dive into the murky world that is the Dark Lord, Uncle Albert. Wow. Guys, if you're excited for this interview, just put a number 1 in the chat box. If you are following on Facebook, guys, can you do me a massive favor? Can you hit the share button? There's a share button. It looks like a bendy arrow. If you can just click that button and share to your stream, I believe that you will impact somebody positively today. The information that we're going to be sharing and this interview will be of great benefit to at least one individual. And by sharing the stream, that can be your good deed for the day, for the month, even the year. And if you're watching this back on replay, which you may be, you can still share it. You can still share the stream, and it could land in front of somebody who really, really needs to hear this information. So a warm welcome. I want to introduce the main man himself. This is a gentleman who is part of our academy. If you have stumbled upon this stream, the source of this interview is from ameyfinance.com. We're a large academy based in the Canary Wharf Tower, and we simply help people to create multiple sources of income and to build something called generational wealth. If you're listening to this Zoom, I want to urge you to stay right until the very end. Do not leave this interview, because I genuinely believe that it's going to be impactful. So let me begin by introducing the main man himself, someone who I've got huge amounts of respect for, someone who's respected heavily in the academy for what he's achieved, for his support, and also for his good humor and character. Uncle Albert, how are you doing this evening?
I'm very well, thanks. And thanks for taking the time out to host this interview.
Oh, the pleasure is absolutely all mine. So how did you feel when they announced another lockdown?
It, for me personally, it didn't really make that much difference. And and I actually saw it as an opportunity to lock down in terms of what I'm learning within the academy. So obviously, in a wider sense, it's not good. I do know people that have been affected in various ways, some quite seriously, but on an individual level, I see it as an opportunity to knuckle down on what I'm learning within the academy.
Absolutely. So there's obviously a lot of talk there about the academy, and we'll definitely take a deep dive into the academy. But I want to know a bit more about you. I want to know a bit about your background. Tell us a bit about your background and your journey.
Right. Okay. Where should I begin? You could say I've had a couple of quite big career changes in my adult life. So I actually started off working for Newham Council. So because I've lived in East London for most of my life, and I worked for the council for about 11 years. And I got a little bit bored with the job that I was doing, and I took an interest in IT. So I took what to some might seem like a massive gamble, but I knew that I wanted to do something else. And so what I actually did, yeah, we have something slightly in common, because I used to buy and sell cars.
Oh wow. All right, girl boy.
Yeah, I think it might be an East London thing. I don't know.
I think you sold me a dodgy car, come to think of it. No?
It wasn't me, Gov.
The dodgy Cortina.
So yeah, so I used to so although I worked so I've always done more than one thing. That's just how I'm wired. So while I was in the council, I used to buy and sell cars on a part-time basis. But once I felt that I wanted to get into IT, I took a gamble in the sense that I left the council. I had a pretty nice car at the time, and I sold it, and I used it to pay for my IT course, the first IT course that
What was the car?
It was a BMW convertible 3 Series.
Oh, I bet that got their heads turning.
Yeah, it didn't make me many friends in the council, because I was a business rates inspector, so I'd turn up at the businesses. So they said, "Oh, this is where our council tax is going."
Zimmer.
So yeah, so I sold that. I used it to pay for an IT course, and you know what's funny? That IT course was in 1 Canada Square. It was.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if the company is still there, but there was an IT company that used to teach IT courses in Canary Wharf. Yeah, it was near the top. I don't remember which floor though.
Wow. What year are we talking about roughly?
Oh, it would have been about 20 years ago.
Yeah. I wasn't born then. So I just want to unpick something you just said, because you started dropping nuggets already, and if you've not already grabbed a notepad and a pen, guys, I really want you to do that right now, because this man's full of wisdom. You see, for a lot of people, selling their prized possession to do a course, it may sound strange. You've got a car that you love, but you sold it to do a course. I mean, I find that quite impactful. That's quite a bold decision to make, but obviously you valued that course more than the car.
Yeah, to some it seemed like a gamble, because with it being a government organization, it's seen as a safe place to work. But I just felt that I wasn't going to grow there, and I felt like it was holding me back. So it was scary, but I just believed in what I was doing, so I had to take the leap. So it was quite funny, because I sold a flash car, and while I was studying, I got myself an estate car to do mini cabin. So I was cab driving while doing the course. Yeah. I definitely didn't regret it. I love IT. Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting, because you said we've got the car selling in common, but actually my first degree is actually in IT as well.
Yeah.
I remember the late 90s, the whole vibe was IT is the future.
Yeah.
It was all IT is the future, IT is the future. And I remember when I started my undergrad around 99, of course, we had the millennium bug.
Yeah.
And, that was it was a huge surge in people wanting to do IT around that time. For anyone listening to this interview who is under the age, who's, doesn't remember 99 vividly, we genuinely, that there was a genuine feeling that, planes were going to fall out of the sky. Do you remember those times?
I got into it just after that, so
right, okay.
I wasn't able to cash in on that. Because a lot of people did cash in on that, but yeah, I got in just so I literally got into it because I was tinkering around with computers, and so it was a passion.
Yeah.
I missed the millennium bug there.
Millennium bug.
Yeah.
I remember around that time as well with IT, there was this surge in IT courses where you would do the course, and at the end of the course, they'd find you a job. Do you remember that?
Yeah. With my one, did they offer a guarantee? I didn't get it through that anyway.
Okay.
But it definitely helped me get a job. But no, it wasn't through the people that did the course though. Yeah.
Brilliant. And how did your career progress after completing the course?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's I did it because the passion. I actually did it in a way because a lot of people get into IT, they move from the desktop support side of thing and the networking, and a lot of people can't wait to get out of that, because you're kind of like in the front end of it when you're dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. But I actually enjoyed that. So I actually enjoyed meeting people, interacting with people, and there's a type, I won't. There's a tiny bit of a teacher in me. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed showing people how to do things and things like that. So yeah, so I've always been front facing.
Amazing, amazing. And your career, did it take off and just go from strength to strength?
Yeah. And I also did some private stuff as well. So as you may know, I run an IT company.
Yeah.
So that I accelerated that during the lockdown last year. But yeah, IT is something that I really enjoy though, and I intend to stay in it one way or another.
And what does your company offer? What sort of services?
It's basically, especially with lockdown, it's a remote support service. So as long as someone has an internet connection, then I can help them. In a non-COVID situation, I can help companies upgrade their systems.
Wow.
I can do more face-to-face support. But with things as they are, it's possible to help people remotely as well. So I enjoy that. Yeah.
Wow. So we've got thousands of people in the academy, people that come, they join our academy and they go on to, achieve financial independence and so forth.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear people's stories,
Yeah.
there's always like some pain in from their background. I get a sense with you that, other than having to sell your BMW, is there any kind of pain in kind of the lead up to joining the academy, or is it kind of been, I mean, everyone's story is different, but has there been any kind of any pain, frustrations?
In one sense, yes. Because what prompted me to join the academy is I was contracting. So I don't know how much you're still tapped into the IT world, but you get the normal PAYE employees, then you get contractors as well.
Yeah.
So I was on a long-term contract which got cancelled because of COVID, and when that happened, I thought, oh dear, okay, here we go again, and it was in a sense not my first rodeo, because the same thing actually happened in the last recession in 2008. But it actually prepared me. So I thought, okay, I've been here before. I did certain things the last time around. What can I learn from that? What can I do differently? And I've basically applied that this time around. So it didn't, so because it wasn't the first time, it didn't feel like a major shock. I felt prepared to do what needs to be done to make sure I'm in a strong position. Yeah.
Perfect. What advice would you give to anyone who's kind of going through a situation in this current climate? You've got people who are facing uncertainty. Maybe they've been made furloughed and they're not sure if they're going to go back to a job. Some people have been made redundant. There's so much uncertainty out there. From your experience in the working world, do you have any advice to offer?
So in a sense, I'm calling on my experience in the last recession. So the first thing I'd say is, no matter how down you might feel, it doesn't last forever. There's always light at the other end of the tunnel.
Yes.
So because of that, I didn't lose hope when I lost my contract.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I actually felt relieved. So I thought, oh, okay. So I felt I'm free, So I thought, okay, what do I do now? So I felt free to do what I wanted to do. And, I'm sure, like many people, 2020 has made a lot of people feel reflective and think about, okay, what do they really want to do?
Yes.
And it got me thinking about what my original goals had been in the last recession, because I had actually launched, I actually launched a business at the time. So which actually made me a little bit familiar with drop shipping. So maybe we can talk about that later on.
Absolutely.
So I made certain mistakes, but one thing I learned was, although it might be great for the ego to say, I've got a company, yes, but the thing is, you soon realize that you may have certain skills, but you don't necessarily have all the skills you need. So I knew that this time around I was going to do things differently, and I was going to find a way to leverage knowledge. So when I was approached by my nephew, although I gave him a hard time, asked him lots of skeptical questions, I was ready. I just needed to find out, is this a genuine offering?
Yeah.
If it is, I knew that I would take it, but I just needed to do my due diligence to make sure I was happy with what he was presenting to me.
Absolutely. A big shout to Rexosaurus, who's somewhere on this call. Young Rex. It's interesting that you mentioned Rex, because even when he heard the presentation to join our academy for the first time,
Yeah.
he almost didn't join. He was almost walking out the door,
Mm.
and I said to myself, no, this guy needs to come back, because he
Mm.
was very animated during
Yeah.
the presentation, and he's gone on leaps and bounds, a real top leader in the organization. So how did it go down? How did he approach you?
So let me just clear my throat.
No worries. Oh, hope it's not COVID.
It better not be. Yeah. Right. So because I think I must have done an update to say that I'd lost my contract. So he called me within a couple of days, and he said, "Okay, Uncle, sorry about the contract, but I'm into something that might be of interest to you." So I said, "Okay, what is it?" And then he explained, and then he used that magic word, network marketing, and I said, "Yeah, okay."
Who trained him?
So I thought, okay, let me check it out. But even though I was a bit skeptical, I knew the product was genuine. And that's why my curiosity let me ask more questions. And that's partly because of my previous exposure to cryptocurrency. So I was already a little bit tapped into the financial ecosystem.
Yes,
I
yes.
thought, okay, that sounds interesting. That could be a new skill that I could learn. So tell me more a bit about it. So I started asking some questions. Yeah.
Wow. And then here you are in the academy.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. It's interesting because you've mentioned a few times about losing your contract, and I really want to just acknowledge contractors in particular, that group of people in particular, because contracting is great when you're up. It's great, the money's great, but there are periods in between contracts, and I speak to a lot of contractors who have joined our academy. Okay. And they often tell me that it's good for it. The academy suits them because they can make money in between contracts whilst they're not contracting. It's a great way to leverage some of the savings that they've been able to stack and to plug the gap in between contracts.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Wow.
It's actually funny you should say that. Let me just briefly mention that, because that was my thought. I thought, okay, let me get busy with this in between contracts. And that's another reason why I didn't see it as a disadvantage, because I thought, okay, while I don't have a contract, I'm going to make sure I learn as much as possible.
Yes.
So that if I get another contract, I'll be so much calmer if I lose the contract, because I've got something to fall back on. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. So what's your why? What would you say your why is? The reason. You've kind of touched on it. You have kind of touched on it, to be fair, but I'm asking it so that it can be kind of crystallized. The reason why now you are on this journey with us at Amey Finance Academy.
Yeah.
What is your reason why?
I've got a few whys. I've got a few whys. I can list off top of my head: inspire my children. So if they see the drive that I've got, I'm hoping it would give them the same kind of ambition to be self-sufficient. That's one of them. The other thing is, because I'm 54 this year, I'm aware that I'm getting closer and closer to retirement. So
unbelievable. You look like a young boy.
Yeah, that's because I'm immature.
We'll come on to the lightsaber.
Yeah. So because I'm aware that I'm closer to retirement, and I'll be honest, I won't lie. When you're a contractor, you don't always you know, because, you know, like you said, because you're making good money, you don't always think about the best way to use it,
Mm,
pension wise and stuff like that. So I'm kind of okay, but if I wanted to maintain a certain standard, especially with
mm,
how contract pensions are these days, I think everyone knows about the problems with pensions. So
mm,
I'm thinking, okay, there's various things that I can do to make sure I'm in a good position as I get older.
mm.
And the other good, so not only am I learning a skill, the other good thing about it is that the skill that I'm learning doesn't require physical effort. So
Yes.
because with the contracting, as much as I love it,
Yeah.
um, because I'm face to face, I do still sometimes, depending on the contract, I'm carrying computers around, I'm crawling under desks and things like that. And you know, my knees are getting a bit old now, so I need to think of the next stage. Yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense.
yeah,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
mm,
So 20, I want to talk a little bit about financial goals,
yeah,
because it's
mm,
interesting that so many people do not even know what they want.
yeah,
They're not clear about what they want. And the reason why so many people do not achieve their goals or their financial goals is because they're not clear about what they want. You know, only 3% of the population actually write down their goals. But those that do are 50% more likely to make those goals effective. So on that note, you know, what are your financial goals for the next, your short term and kind of long term financial goals?
yeah. My short term, I feel a bit embarrassed talking about my goals.
No, 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 go for it. You get another lightsaber.
Okay, my short term goals. I I'd like to be in a position to buy another property this year. That's my most immediate one. There's a certain income that I would like to get on a monthly basis, and yeah, so I'm working towards that. And it's funny because what you said about, you know, focusing on your goals, the longer I'm in the academy, the more realistic it feels to me, because I can actually see how I can
Mm,
actually realistically achieve those goals, and
yes,
they've actually become bolder actually.
yeah, it's true, is it? Because I remember when I joined the academy, what
Yeah,
happens is you start to dream bigger.
yeah, yeah,
You know, that's I don't know if you find the same thing, but I
yeah,
find myself
yeah,
dreaming way bigger than I used to.
yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah, bigger goals seem much more realistic and achievable now. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the top tip for anyone listening to this is definitely to write your goals down, and also to become obsessed with your goals. You know, let it consume your every thought, because thoughts become things. You know, your thoughts lead to actions, and they turn into results. And as an extension of your goals, I want to implore you to create a vision board. A vision board. You see, we think in pictures. So create a vision board that represents all of your goals, your why, your aspirations. Do you have a vision board, Albert?
I do, yeah.
Have you got it?
I've not showed it to you.
Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. No problem at all.
I'll tell you what, there's a silly picture that you've got, because well, before COVID, I used to be fairly regular in the gym. So I've got a picture of I've got a someone who's in shape, their torso, and you've got my head plastered on top of it. I've not shown that to anyone.
I like that. I like that. Guys, you may or may not know that Uncle Albert is a huge Star Wars fan. How huge would would you say that you're like a massive fan?
What I tend to say, and you know, it rubs some people up the wrong way, but Star Wars is my football, I'm afraid. I'm not really into football, but so
Controversial.
whatever people's passion is about football, that's our passion is like.
I'm ending the Zoom right now.
I knew you would say
No, I'm
that.
actually a Star Wars fan as well. To be fair, not at quite the same level, but
Yeah,
who's your favorite character?
my favorite character. I don't have a favorite character, but you know, well, you see, I'm called Dark Sith. I tend to like some of the baddies, but at the same time, I
Mm,
love Luke Skywalker. And I actually
mm,
remember I mentioned that I went to the Star Wars convention and I met Mark Hamill, and I'm really proud of
wow,
that. Yeah,
wow.
that was awesome. Yeah,
How old were you? How old were you when you discovered Star Wars? Was it when it first came out in the cinemas?
yeah. So 1977, I was 10 years old. So for my generation, I think it made us insane because there was nothing like that before then. So
Yeah. It's ahead of its time, wasn't it?
exactly. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just blew our minds. Yeah.
So here's my question. Would you reckon someone who's never watched Star Wars before? If you've never watched Star Wars before, guys, can you just put a number 2 in the chat box, guys? If you've never watched Star Wars before, because I caught onto it late. I was a grown man but when I did, I was like, wow, like where's this been all my life, you know? But would you recommend? This is a really important question. Would you recommend someone to watch it in the order it was released, or the number order?
In the order it was released.
In the order it was released, as opposed to, you know what I'm talking about, right? You can watch it in the number, because they went back, didn't they?
Yeah.
And the prequels, right? Because I thought it'd be interesting to watch it, you know, with the prequels first, and then the ones from the 80s. But okay, do it in the order it was released, guys. Honestly, I watched it late. I think it was only about maybe 5-6 years ago, and I was just hooked. So it was just before the one came out with John, is it Boyega? Just before that one. I thought, I want to get into this, right? Because I want to watch him. So I watched all that. I just did a massive marathon. And yeah, I was like, no, this does live up to expectation. Like it's really good, guys. So definitely top tip to watch that when you can. Is it where can people watch it? Is it on Sky or anything like that?
It's on Disney Plus. It tends to come on Sky sometimes, but it's definitely on Disney Plus.
Nice.
And I'll be honest. Although I'm a crazy Star Wars fan, I'm also rational, and the originals are the best. So you're more likely to, my opinion is, you're more likely to get engrossed by it if you watch the originals first and then watch it like that. Yeah.
Makes sense. Wow. So back to trading. What would you say is your favorite product in trading, and why?
At the moment, DeLorean is my favorite. But because I'm obsessed with crypto, I'm learning swipe coin. I'm still, very much taking baby steps. I'm quite keen to embrace that. But in terms of my favorite at this current time, is definitely DeLorean. It's very straightforward. I love it. And I love the one thing that I love about it is that it's designed in a way for you to manage your risk in a very sensible way, and I just love that. So if you just follow the guidance, you're fine.
Absolutely, guys. If you are a DeLorean fan, can you just put a number 3 in the chat box, in the comment box? Make some love for DeLorean, guys, because it is changing lives around the world. That is my favorite product. I train on DeLorean every single Monday. Guys, if you're listening to this and you are genuinely serious about creating another income stream, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to, first of all, connect with Uncle Albert right now, slide into his DMs. But more importantly, I want you to write down the word DeLorean. You can just write down how it said, because when you come on board, I want you to grab hold of that strategy. It's my number 1 strategy. I've not met one person who has learned DeLorean, entered the nation, and they're not happy. I've not found an unhappy DeLorean Nation member. So guys, the ball is in your court, but you can come on board and learn this and make some extra money. And what I love about DeLorean is the simplicity. It's so simple, guys. It's a scanner which does all the hard work, and it's a 2-step confirmation system. Absolutely phenomenal. And then of course the risk to reward is beautiful. 1 to 3, sometimes 1 to 6. So yeah, all the DeLorean fans, I see you guys. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. So as you can see, Uncle Albert's wearing his Bitcoin t-shirt, a Bitcoin enthusiast. Talk to us about Bitcoin and your love of crypto. How did it start? How do you feel about it now? Any top tips?
It started in 2017 for me. So, and at the time, it's similar to how some people feel now. They think, oh, I've left it too late. So I had exactly the same feeling in 2017. And when I first got into it, it was actually early 2017 in March. and a relative said to me, "Oh, you need to get into Bitcoin. Try and buy one Bitcoin." And I looked and I thought, "What? But one Bitcoin's £3,500. You think I'm mad?" You know. so,
But we
so,
would.
so I bought a small fraction, forgot about it, and then I looked at my crypto account 3-4 months later, and it had doubled in price. So then what I did then is I did what a typical retail, depending on if you know the term, if people listening know the terminology, I was a retail trader. So as a retail trader, I had big saucer eyes. I saw the value jumping up and I thought, ooh, let me buy some more. So I just kept on buying. As it kept on going up, all my emotions were involved and I kept on buying as it went up in price. And as I'm sure you know, at the end of 2017, the reverse happened. It plummeted. And I thought, wow, what do I do now? But instead of panicking completely, what I did is I said, okay, let me start doing the research. So at that point, I looked into it and I thought, okay, what is Bitcoin? Why is it here? And once I did the research, I thought, okay, I didn't get into it wisely, but I completely believe in the technology. I understand it, and I'm in for the long term. So what I ended up doing was dollar cost averaging. And by doing that over the following months and years, that actually rectified the situation I was in. So rather than being in in a position where if I'd cashed out, it would have been in a loss, I would have been in a stronger position. Yeah, so that's my journey with Bitcoin, and that's what, as I mentioned earlier, that's what made me open to forex, because after that, to me, forex is like calm waters compared to. So it's like, this is nothing.
Forex describes as many things.
Yeah, it's not as volatile. So it was, yeah, you know. But having said that, it's a totally different set of skills. So one of the reasons that brought me into the academy, into the academy, is that I humbled myself. I thought, okay, what did I do wrong? And I realized I'd gone in with emotion. I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and I thought to myself, okay, this time around, you know, and which is why I mentioned Rex. So when he mentioned forex, I thought, okay, this is more, because I realized, you know, I acknowledged my skill level. So I turned myself into a reasonably good long-term investor, but I knew I wasn't a trader. So I stayed away from trading Bitcoin because I knew that I didn't have the skill set to manage it. So one of the things that got me into the academy, I thought, okay, I'm going to learn the trading skill set. It's a bit like tennis and badminton. That's the comparison I use in my head. They're similar, but they're different. So I thought this would be the best way for me to learn. And if I learn that, I can apply it to both forex and crypto. That was my mindset.
Wow. You said a few gems there. Just take going back a little bit. You said that you just bought a fraction of a Bitcoin. And I love that, because for a lot of people, they have this misconception that you need to buy a whole Bitcoin. And you don't. And I understand it, because you hear Bitcoin and because it's not normal that you buy a fraction of a coin. So it's actually a logical thought process. But actually, you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. If you only have £100 to invest in Bitcoin, you can put £100 in, and it's relative. It's all relative. You know, if Bitcoin doubles, then your £100 doubles, and so forth. It goes up in the same way. So don't get too hung up over the current price of Bitcoin. And is it too late to get involved in Bitcoin? What would you say to that? Is it, somebody was to say, it's too late. I've missed the boat. The price is too.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. No. Because the last time I checked, I think it's only about 1.5% of the world's population owns any Bitcoin. So yeah, we've got a long way to go.
Absolutely. Is it there's 1.4 million Bitcoins? What's the figure?
You mean the total
The
of Bitcoin?
total amount of Bitcoins that are out there is because it's limited, isn't it?
Well, if there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin,
1 million Bitcoin. That's it.
and to the best of my knowledge, I think about 18 million is already out in circulation.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why the price is so high, because relatively speaking, the amount that's left is quite small.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Any other kind of coins that you would kind of recommend? Any altcoins or other lesser known cryptocurrencies?
Oh, yeah, yes, but it's I'm a little bit reluctant. It depends if I'm talking to someone who's brand new to cryptocurrency.
Mm,
I would say, and you haven't traded before or anything like that, I would say buy Bitcoin, maybe buy Ethereum, buy and hold it.
yeah.
Don't worry about the fluctuations in price. And I would say if you're buying it for the first time, definitely dollar cost average. Whatever your budget is, don't go all in.
Mm,
Spread it out over months rather than buying it all at once. Although it's tempting, I know from my experience it's best to just partition your budget and then just buy in small chunks, and it takes away the anxiety and the emotion, because if you're only investing a small portion of your budget, you don't get that kind of panicky feeling when you see the price going down, and over time it does actually balance out and you end up in a much better position.
yeah, no,
So that would be
absolutely.
my advice. Yeah.
Absolutely. And also what you mentioned or what you alluded to was the fact that it's a long-term play with
Yeah.
a lot of these cryptocurrencies. Just be in it for the long haul. If you're gonna invest, do it and just forget about it. Couple, 2, 3, 4 years, you'll be smiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
So drop shipping. So you've been in the drop shipping space for some time.
Well, I did it in the 2008 recession. So it wasn't actually, well, it wasn't quite drop shipping. What I mean by that is I started out selling on eBay. So
Ah, okay.
so I was buying IT equipment, I was buying laptops and stuff like
Nice.
that. But because I fell into that trap where my cash flow was
Mm,
working against me,
right.
so I was getting customers and I wasn't able to fulfill the orders because of the cash flow. So it was kind of like a bit of a frustrating period.
Mm,
So although I did dabble into drop shipping, I was inexperienced. I made a few mistakes, etc. So when I heard about the drop shipping within the academy, I thought, okay, I know what I did last time. I can tap into my experience from the past and benefit from people who are far more experienced than me. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the ECX as well.
wow, wow, wow. Nice. And just give people a brief how would you describe drop shipping to an absolute novice?
So drop shipping is I call it a godsend, if especially if you have cash flow issues, because it means that you can build a website, fill your website with stock, but you don't actually buy anything until a customer orders something, and that's amazing. And not only that, because I made some mistakes in the past, one of the things that attracted me to it is the fact that we're being taught by a mentor who's
Yeah,
done it. We're
yeah.
being taught by someone who can actually give advice in terms of the kind of things that are selling. And they also give advice in terms of the marketing as well, which is crucial.
Mm,
So to me, all of that is valuable information.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Wow. So we've covered quite a lot there. We've spoken about Bitcoin, drop shipping, trading, online trading, which is just the buying and the selling of currency online, and being able to make money that way as well. Are you embarked on the residual income side of the business as well? Have you embarked?
Um, I've just recently decided to go down that path as well.
Good decision.
First, I wasn't interested because I
Yeah.
thought I just want to learn the skills, so, but I started to get interested, when we had the virtual seminar.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's when I thought, okay, okay, yeah, this looks interesting. And then
Crazy.
the second thing was when one of the I think it was Matt Rosa who said it, and he talked about how if you build a team, psychologically it makes you stronger when you're trading.
Mm,
That really resonated with me. I thought that makes so much sense.
mm.
So that's one of the reasons why now I'm more interested. So as you know, I haven't explored that side yet, but I'm keen to start doing that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, anyone on the call, residual income earners on the call, just put a number 4 in the chat box, guys, if you are making residual income from this platform, which essentially means that these guys are getting paid every single Friday, residual income. Guys, we have people on our platform making the money a CEO would make in a year in a month. It's crazy. And that's what Uncle Albert was talking about from that conference. You know, even I was starstruck. You know, I'll do very well from the residual income side of things. But you know, I'm literally looking at people who are, you know, young enough to be my child, my kid, literally making six figures a month. Six figures a month, you know, which is absolutely incredible. Just keep those fours coming through if you are making residual income, and if you are on let's see what the fours. If you are on Facebook as well, just keep those fours coming through on Facebook as well, because people need to see that there are things such as this. For some people, they don't even know that you can make money in this way. So there are people watching this who genuinely are looking for a change. They're genuinely looking to, because here's the thing, guys, the old ways are not working. And let me just put it into context. You know, back in the day, you could have a job, a reasonable job, and be able to put food on the table, clothe your kids, and buy a house. And I'm not talking about like a top job. I'm talking about just working in a factory. You could work in a factory, you know, and literally be able to look after your family, buy a nice 2 up, 2 down, and everything. Now, now that's not the case, guys. The old ways are not working. And now what's happening is there's a transfer of wealth. And for you guys, I want to invite you to connect with us. And in particular, I want you to connect with Uncle Albert, because in Uncle Albert, what you have is a mentor. What you have is the support system and the environment for you to come in and to thrive. So I want you to slide into Uncle Albert's DMs, his direct messages. And if you're listening to this and you're curious, there's going to be 3 types of people. You're going to have seasoned entrepreneurs listening to this, who are seasoned and they're like, you know what, I get it, I like it, let's go. Okay, you guys, you're a different breed. Any entrepreneurs, you guys are different. You're built differently. We look forward to working with you. Then you're going to have curious people who are like, my interest is peaked, but I just want a bit more info. I want to do this, I want to do that. No problem. I want you to connect with Uncle Albert and simply say more info. Just say more info so we can get that information to you. And then you got those who are action takers. There's certain people, there's 3% of the population who they hear something and they're like, you know what, this is about timing. Right place, right time, let's go. Those kind of people, you know, right place, right time. I want to get started. They're the kind of people where success loves speed. They just go super, super. For those of you, I want you to slide into Uncle Albert's DMs, and I want you to say, I'm ready. And for those people, I want to give you a reward. To those people, if you slide into Uncle Albert's DMs and say, I'm ready, I want to offer you £30 off of your joining fee. Now, the joining fee is approximately £190. So if you have £190 to invest in yourself, to invest in a home business, that's absolutely phenomenal. That opens you up to multiple sources of income. And we've just scratched the surface on this interview, by the way. We literally just scratched the surface. If we spoke about everything, your mind would just be spinning. But when you come into the family, everything is unleashed, and it's a fantastic opportunity. Uncle Albert, I'm going to give you the final words. What would you say to anyone who's out there who's listening to this, who you know, who's looking for something new?
Firstly, I'd like to say thank you. So yeah, I very much appreciate that. So especially in these times, that offers, you know, it's definitely something that, you know, shouldn't be passed up. I would say, well, especially if there's anyone in my age group, I would say, you know, it's never too late to learn a new skill, and not just because of lockdown, but it's just a perfect environment, and the amount of support you get is second to none. There's a reason why I'm still here, even though I'm paying a subscription. I'm a customer, but I'm getting great value from it. I see as kind of like the Netflix of entrepreneurialism. So it's like there's so much that I can tap into, and yeah, I get great value from it.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
How many people are you willing to take on as mentees?
You put me on the spot. Right, I don't know. You put me on the spot. Actually, I'm not sure. I know, but and the reason I say that because the number doesn't really matter because I know I've got a support system.
That's true.
You know, so I haven't really thought about the number. You know,
yeah. No, of course.
If I feel overwhelmed, I know there's help for me.
Yeah, we've got Rex, we've got Sherelle, we've got Bryony, you know, some incredible guys behind the scenes, ready to welcome you to the family. Guys, I hope that if you've enjoyed this interview, guys, just put a 555 in the chat box on Zoom or on Facebook, guys. Uncle Albert, I just want to thank you for, you know, joining us in the academy. You know, it's an absolute pleasure. You know, someone of your caliber, you know, in your experience, we don't take it for granted at all. You know, I learn from you as much as you learn from us. And it's a fantastic partnership that we have. Guys, honestly, the best piece of advice I can give you for this year is to stay close to Uncle Albert. The guy is wise, you know, he's just a fountain of knowledge. And when you partner with us, you get all of the, when you any of your mentees, will they get free IT support?
Oh, of course.
Is that your USP? Amazing.
And they definitely get extra special crypto mentorship as well.
Absolutely. Incredible. Let me just check what we have here. Brilliant stuff, guys. That is it from us. A reminder, tomorrow we are back with the next installment of the big interview. We actually have Uncle Albert's nephew, Rex, who's responsible for this journey. So it'll be interesting to see what this young man has to say for himself. So that's tomorrow, 2 p.m. I may even just share it to the page as well for you guys that have stumbled upon here as well. But again, Uncle Albert, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to growing with you in 2021. Let's go.
And thank you. Much appreciated.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. All the best. And we look forward to seeing you at the top because the bottom is far too crowded. Take care, guys. See you soon.